Everything checks out okay.
Houston, this is Patriot.
Reading you loud and clear, Neil.
Steve's checked and rechecked the transponder. We can't find anything wrong with it on this end.
Roger. Looks like you'll have to continue performing your correction burns using your onboard computer.
Roger. At least our computer seems to be functioning okay.
Neil, in case we can't locate the problem down here, you should be close enough in about 7 days for us to skin paint you on our radar.
Roger. After all this time in deep space, I guess we can wait another week.
Everything else all right up there?
Aside from the fact we're not 100% sure we're on the right trajectory, everything's great.
Roger. We'll keep in touch.
We'll be here.
I never thought I'd consider 26,000 miles an hour slow.
You get the feeling Mike's a little anxious to get home?
Well, a new bride can do that to you.
Especially when you haven't had a chance to take her on a honeymoon.
Don't worry. I'll make up for it when I get back.
What's on the menu, Junior?
There's a real pretty sight.
Yeah, when that transponder failed, I wasn't really sure I'd see it again.
It makes two of us. Mike, how about a nice, thick, juicy...
Yeah, I know, but set off our communications alarms. Try and get them reset, Steve. I'll see if we still have voice with mission control. Houston, this is Patriot. Do you read me? Houston, this is Patriot. Come in, please.
What's going on up there? Patriot, send you... Neil, what's going on up there? Neil, what's going on up there? Neil, this is Houston. Go ahead, Patriot. Patriot, send you radio.
Telegram. Good afternoon, Colonel. More telegrams. You'd think they'd be out of paper by now. Can I get you anything?
How about a room with a view?
Oh, I'm afraid there are no windows in this wing of the hospital. Sunlight interferes with post-radiation studies. Besides, you'll be well enough to leave here soon.
Straight scoop?
In the meanwhile, there are all these beautiful flowers. They keep coming in by the truckload.
Well, how's our #1 patient?
I think he's anxious to leave us, Doctor.
Yes, I blame him. How do you feel?
You tell me.
You're making excellent progress.
Good, then I can get out of here soon.
Soon? It's not as though it were a prison, you know.
What would you call it, Dr. Revere? The 2 weeks I've been here, I haven't been allowed outside this room. I can't have visitors, use the telephone, or read a newspaper. I've been cut off from the outside world, and you tell me it's not like I'm in prison.
You've been through a terrible experience.
But I'm still in one piece. I can get around.
I know. Physically, you're in better condition than we could have hoped, but...
But what?
Emotionally.
What about emotionally?
It just takes time. You've been a member of the space program long enough to understand that.
I don't know what I understand anymore. All I know is I haven't seen one familiar face since I got back, and you're as much a stranger to me as anyone.
There are many people in this end of the program you've never come in contact with.
What about our flight surgeon? Where's he?
Dr. Bellman is dead, Neil. He died of a heart attack while you were still in space. We didn't want to disturb you with it. I'm sorry. Look, I give you my word that it won't be long before you'll be reunited with the outside world and, well, with your family and friends. We need you back in space. You're much too valuable to be stuck in here. In the meantime, Reports concerning your health are being let out at regular intervals. You know that there are people all over the world concerned about your well-being. I told you, didn't I? The president himself insists upon being the first one to speak to you on the telephone. The man from the presidential staff has been assigned to the hospital here to keep him informed.
Вам не верю.
I'm sorry.
You don't speak Russian, Doctor?
No, I never had time to learn another language. Ready? You find these have been helping you relax?
Yeah, but I haven't been sleeping well lately. I keep having these strange dreams.
About the mission?
About everything that's ever happened to me. It's like I'm reliving my life over again in my sleep, even the smallest details. And I've got the feeling I've been talking in my sleep, too.
No. Our nurses are trained to be discreet. Neil, I think I told you that the fact that you survived and your fellow astronauts perished, that makes it all the more traumatic for you. But these nightmares, they'll pass. So will your suspicions and your fears. You're getting better, Colonel. Just takes time. Trust me. Oh, say, I've got a surprise for you. You know a man named Tony Angelo?
Yeah, he owns a restaurant in Boston.
Well, he's flying some fresh scrod out here for you. Says it's your favorite fish.
But Tony ought to know. He served me enough of it.
Well, with a little luck, it'll be here for dinner.
Speaking of Boston, Dr. Revere, are you any relation to Paul? Paul Revere?
No, I don't think so.
Well, it doesn't matter. Paul Revere wasn't much of a ball player anyway.
Oh. I'm afraid I'm as ignorant of sports as I am languages. I think we should stop for tonight. We're pushing him too hard. The more patient we are with him now, the more cooperative he'll be in the future.
Doctor, do you really think that he believes he's home?
Well, I think he has some doubts.
Well, I have some doubts too, Doctor. Especially about the way you're handling this. All these questions about his past.
These questions have helped me to eliminate most of his suspicions.
Most, but not all. No. It's only a matter of time now before he figures what we're doing to him.
But until then, think of what we're learning about their space program. My way is better. You don't believe that, do you, Doctor? I believe you can break him, yes. If all else fails, there's always Ward E. But you also stand a chance of breaking his mind as well.
We will continue the questioning another hour.
Benedict.
I can't devote my whole life to this man, this one man. I've got other things to do, more important things. Another hour, Doctor. Another hour.
Neil, let's talk about Paul Revere.
Drugs wearing off, Doctor.
Let him rest for tonight.
Give him another injection.
Too much of that drug is going to kill him.
And maybe we could all get some rest. Go ahead, do it.
Do it, Eric.
Benedict, get me security.
Don't be afraid. I won't hurt you.
I won't tell anyone you're here.
He's in there, in the lab.
Benedict.
Fire.
Number, please?
I want to call Cape Kennedy.
I'm sorry.
Cape Kennedy, General R.E. Williams.
Well, I have no listing for a Cape Kennedy.
You've got to. It's a space center outside of Orlando.
I'm afraid we have no Orlando.
It's in Florida.
I see no Florida listed.
Operator, you speak English. There's got to be a Florida.
I'm sorry. If you care to speak to my supervisor?
Give me a ride?
Been out there long?
A little while.
Where you headed? So where you headed?
Those moons.
What about them?
Do they always look like that?
How do you want them to look?
Third planet from the sun. There's only one moon. It's called Earth. Did you ever hear of it?
Nope, never did. Stryker. Neil Stryker. He appears friendly. In point of fact, he's unstable, paranoid, extremely dangerous. A malignant disease that must be eradicated. Henry.
Well, is there a question?
Yes.
He looks just like us. I thought he'd be different.
Take my word for it. Neil Stryker is different.
How many of us ought to know the truth about this man Stryker, that he's a stranger from another planet?
Only those with top secret priority. Inner council members such as yourself, and for obvious reason, there was no need to alarm the entire planet with the true facts of the case.
What facts will they be given?
They'll be told to be on the lookout for an escaped mental patient, one considered extremely dangerous. Yes.
Is he to be taken alive?
He's to be taken.
That's all, thank you.
Yes.
He could be captured alive.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Doctor, that's a possibility.
You could order it.
You don't understand, do you, Doctor?
He's one man alone.
One man alone. Let me tell you something, Doctor. Before the perfect order, the history books were filled with stories of one man alone that changed the entire course of our great planet. One man alone wanting to be dictator. One man alone thinking he was God. One man alone feeling he knew what was best for all mankind. And each of these men caused suffering, destruction, death.
Yes, that's true. But this is different.
Different? How different?
He's given us proof that intelligent life exists elsewhere in the universe. Benedict, doesn't that mean anything to you? Think what we can learn from this man.
I am thinking, Doctor. I'm thinking. Our society works because we all believe the same way. We all feel alike. We all dedicate ourselves to what's best for the perfect order, and in turn, the perfect order does what's best for us. Then someone comes along. Someone with very different ideas, with very destructive ideas. Do you know what I've learned from this man, Doctor? I've learned that he's cursed with an absolute freedom of thought. He's cursed with an inquisitive nature, an uncontrollable spirit. He's cursed much the same way most of our own society was cursed before the perfect order. And now, Doctor, he's walking freely in our streets, in our midst. Oh, believe me, Doctor. Today, one man. Tomorrow, 10. In a week, 1,000. In a month, an epidemic. Do you believe that? Doctor, I'm asking if you believe it. Do you believe it?
Yes.
Do you further believe he must be dealt with quickly, once and for all?
Yes.
Then we have no quarrel, have we, Doctor?
No.
Henry, you think he was being completely honest with me?
Yes.
How quickly some forget. How quickly. The suffering, Henry. Suffering. Did you ever see anyone starve to death?
No, sir.
No, of course not. It's not a pretty sight. Something you never will forget. Something you can't forget. Henry. Dr. Revere's lying to us. He's taken Stryker's side, which only proves how dangerous a man like Stryker is. I think Dr. Revere needs a rest. What do you think, Henry?
Wardy?
Yes, I think Wardy.
Thanks.
Hurt your hand?
What?
The only time I ever see people use their right hands is when they've hurt their left.
Yeah, I sprained my wrist. It's still a little sore.
Happened to me, I'd starve to death.
I know what you mean. Takes some getting used to.
wake thought comes from the first senior deputy of the Inner Council. To work for the perfect order is to live in harmony and peace with oneself. To live in harmony and peace is man's highest goal. To work for the perfect order is to live in harmony and peace with oneself. To live in harmony and peace is man's highest goal. Before our morning wake-up exercises, we have a special bulletin from the Department of Protection. A mental patient escaped last night from the security
Let me out here.
Hopkins Medical Center.
What?
The patient.
Well, this is as far as I'm going. I want to thank you again for stopping for me. Not many people would have.
Brown hair, blue eyes.
Thanks again.
Stryker may have been wounded. Stryker is considered extremely dangerous. The patient, Neil Stryker, is 6'1", 180 pounds. Brown hair, blue eyes. Stryker may have been wounded. Stryker is considered extremely dangerous. We repeat, the patient, Neil Stryker, is 6'1", 180 pounds. Brown hair, blue eyes. Stryker may have been wounded.
Department of Protection. Citizens Welfare Number D1564.
Houston, this is Patriot. Come in, please.
You don't speak Russian, Doctor? No? Never had time to give it another language.
Kate Kennedy.
I have no listing for a Kate Kennedy.
Those moons.
What about them?
They always look like that.
Hurt your hand?
What?
The only time I ever see people use their right hands is when they've hurt their left.
Stryker is considered extremely dangerous. We repeat, the patient, Neil Stryker, is 6'1", 180 pounds, brown hair, blue eyes. Stryker is considered extremely dangerous. Stryker may have sustained a wound in escaping from the hospital. A mental patient escaped last night from the security wing of Parkins Medical Center. Stryker is considered extremely dangerous. We repeat, the patient, Neil Stryker, is 6'1", 180 pounds, brown hair, blue eyes. Stryker is considered extremely dangerous. Stryker may have sustained a wound in escaping.
Physically, you're in better condition than we could have hoped, but
what?
emotionally.
Those moons.
What about them?
Do they always look like that?
Hurt your hand?
Left hand.
Stryker may have sustained a wound.
That's him, all right. Knew he was crazy the minute I talked to him. Had this thing about the moons.
Did you see where he was going?
Let him off right over there, and next time I looked, he was gone.
Thank you.
Does this count toward my becoming an honor citizen?
According to the wake thought for today, to work for the perfect order is to live in harmony and peace. Isn't that reward enough?
Sure.
Don't worry, you'll get your points, Mr. Rogers. He identified Stryker, but he doesn't know where he went after he let him off.
Well, at least we know he's in this sector. Notify all special units here to search every building in this area.
Yes, sir. Maitland to security. Alert all units in area 43.
We repeat, the patient, Neil Stryker, is 6'1", 180 pounds,
brown hair, blue eyes. Stryker may have been wounded. Stryker is considered extremely dangerous. We repeat, the patient, Neil Stryker, is 6'1", 180 pounds. brown hair.
A mental patient escaped last night from the security wing of Parkin's Medical Center. Stryker is considered extremely dangerous. Stryker may have sustained in escaping from the hospital. Stryker is considered extremely dangerous. Let me repeat. The patient, Neil Stryker, is 6'1", 180 pounds, brown hair, blue eyes. Stryker is considered extremely dangerous. Stryker may have sustained escaping from the hospital. Stryker is considered extremely Neil Stryker.
May I help you? You're looking for something special?
Do you have any books about our planet?
About Terra?
Yeah. About where we are in relation to the sun and the other planets.
I'm afraid you'd have to go to one of the technical bookshops for that. Perhaps some of those near the university. If you're interested in the history of Terra, I've got several very good books here. This one is the most complete, from the beginning right to the present time.
This only goes back about 35 years.
That's right.
But you said from the beginning.
Yes, from the beginning of the perfect order. Well, of course, Terra had history before that. You're too young to remember that. It had its bad times and good. People seemed to laugh a lot more in those days. And there seemed to be music everywhere. Remember the concerts in the park? Don't get me wrong. Things are much better now. The perfect order has given us dignity. There's no war anymore, no starvation. We all live together in peace and harmony. There's nothing prior to the perfect order worth recording or even remembering. You're welcome to browse around. If you wish, you won't find any obscene reading material in this shop. Oh, can I do anything?
No, I'll be all right.
I've a room upstairs if you'd care to rest for a little while. No one would disturb you. I'm quite alone here.
It's very kind.
Well, do you think you can make it?
Yes, thank you.
It's small, but comfortable. You can make yourself some tea in there, and there's fresh bread.
Well, I think I'd just like to rest a little while.
Well, whatever you want.
Thank you.
Department of Medical Assistance, please. Citizens Welfare number W9845. District 114. Yes. Yes, I'll wait. He's in there. I saw you weren't feeling well. I phoned medical assistance. They sent a doctor over.
You've got to listen to me. I'm an astronaut from another planet. A planet called Earth. Now, we were returning home from a long mission and somehow entered your gravitational field and were brought down. When I came to, I was at the hospital, and the people there were trying to convince me I was back on Earth. Now, you must have heard something about an alien spacecraft being recovered. It's not something that happens every day.
I heard that there was a special patient in room 420, and that Dr. Revere was in charge of the case.
That's all?
If I'd needed to know more, they would have told me. But I do know that Dr. Revere is a very fine man. He wouldn't do anything to hurt you.
Dr. Revere kept me drugged and a prisoner.
You must be mistaken. Some patients do confuse treatment with punishment.
So you're telling me all he wants to do is help me?
Yes. After all, you're a very important man. And when you've completely recovered, you'll be treated as an honored guest. A welcome visitor to Terra. And I'm sure they'll be able to help you get back to Earth. If you'll only return to the hospital. They won't hurt you. I promise.
All right. On one condition. That you drive me there. I want to turn myself into Dr. Revere.
You have my word.
Turn left up ahead.
The hospital's the other way.
That's right.
You said you were going to turn yourself into Dr. Revere.
I lied. I turned.
No.
I said turn.
I gave you my word that no one would hurt you.
You gave me your word once before.
That was different.
Sure.
I didn't know who you were then. That you're an astronaut from a planet called Earth.
Do you believe me?
Yes.
You believe I'm an escaped mental patient? It's that simple.
Give me the Department of Protection.
Yes, sir. This road ends at Pine Ridge, the Honor Recreation Park.
Pull up over there.
What are you going to do now?
I need some answers. You're going to give them to me.
Answers? About what?
About Terra. If I'm going to survive, I got to know what I'm up against. Are there different countries, governments? Is there any place I can go where someone will help me?
Me alone.
You're all I have. Just tell me where I can get some help.
Back at the hospital.
They tried to kill me there.
You're mistaken.
Is this wound a mistake? Are those men chasing me a mistake? Even if I am insane, is this what the perfect order does to insane people?
No. The mentally disturbed are treated. They're made well again. My own brother.
What were you going to say?
Nothing.
Oh, there's something about your brother.
No.
What about him?
Nothing.
Was he mentally disturbed? Is that it? Did they treat him, make him well? Where's he now?
Leave me alone.
You don't know, do you? They took him somewhere for treatment, and you don't know where he is. Is that what happened?
Yes. It was for his own good. He kept writing things against the perfect order, telling the people to revolt.
Is he still alive?
I don't know.
I need your help.
The radio.
What?
The two-way radio. I left it on in the car so they'd find us.
I'll get out of this road up ahead.
What are you going to do?
Stay alive.
You asked for my help.
You saw what happened. To get me, they'll kill you too.
I think I know someone who'll help you. I'll take you to him.
I don't even know your name.
Bettina.
Dr. Bettina Cook. Citizen's profile number DR 73241. Yes, sir. Right away, sir. No, sir, I won't be delayed. We all have to answer to someone, Henry.
Pig. 13.
Professor Macaulay. This is Neil Stryker. He says he's an astronaut from a planet called Earth.
Oh? Well, do you believe him?
Yes.
Well, you've convinced this beautiful child that anything at all exists outside the perfect order. You must be telling the truth. But let's not discuss it here. I have a feeling one of these pigs is a spy. No, really. That one right there. Oh, I think of butchering him sometimes, but he might have friends in the inner council. Let's walk.
Benedict. Good to see you. My colleagues and I have just been reviewing your record. Exemplary.
Thank you.
No, thank you. You've more than justified my decision to name you my successor when I moved up to the tribunal.
I have only followed the policies you yourself established.
You're too modest, Benedict. You've improved on them. But there is a matter that concerns us. The Stryker affair.
I assume full responsibility for his escape. I assure you it's only a matter of time before he's recaptured.
By time, you mean later this afternoon? Perhaps this evening? Or tomorrow morning?
Hopefully sooner than that.
Oh. Then you have some idea where he is?
Not exactly. But we do know he's in the company of one Dr. Cook, Dr. Bettina Cook. He may be forcing her to help him.
Perhaps she's helping him without being forced.
Yes, we haven't overlooked that possibility. In fact, I was about to examine a citizen's profile on her when you sent for me. I intend to find out everything about the doctor.
I'm sure you will. I told you there was nothing to worry about. Of course, Benedict. The fact that he escaped will go in your record. It's a small mark. But like a single spot on a very white surface, it tends to be extremely noticeable. And Benedict, the longer this striker is allowed to run free, the more noticeable that spot will become.
I understand.
I knew you would.
Same trees, flowers. It's like a dream.
Perhaps. But for many years, our scientists have discussed the possibility of a Terra twin, as your scientists must also have done. That is, two planets flung out from the sun at the same time, both of equal size and gravity, and orbiting exactly opposite, so that neither ever sees the other. Cooling simultaneously, oceans forming together, and the first germs of life appearing there as here. I'm sure you know nothing exists by chance in life, Neil.
Effect and cause, cause and effect.
Precisely. And so as life developed here on Terra, its counterpart developed on its twin. For every mountain and valley here, its counterpart developed there. And so on through the many long ages. What did you call your planet again?
Earth.
Hey. That's a very nice sound.
Well, back where we started.
She has to turn up someplace. All of her friends are under protective surveillance.
You mean the friends we know about? What about the ones we don't? Well, it's a possibility, Henry. One we can't overlook.
So you heard about me?
We heard rumors that an unidentified spacecraft had been brought down and an astronaut taken to the medical center.
Well, there were two others on board with me.
We heard they were dead and buried.
Where?
I don't know.
No services or prayers?
Some of our older people still pray, but very softly, I'm afraid. You see, religion has been outlawed by the perfect order.
How did this perfect order come about?
Well, it seems we closed our eyes for a little while, and when we opened them again, it was here.
Can't you do something about it?
What would you suggest?
Well, if enough people oppose something...
How can puppets oppose anything?
Men like yourself.
Toothless warriors. And a few young men brave enough to make their voices heard. Young men who disappear in the night. All record of their births and accomplishments destroyed. Their families forbidden to mention their names in public. It's one thing to have died, Neil. It's another never to have existed. And then there's Ward E.
Hello, Dr. Revere. Can you hear me? You realize, of course, that this is for your own good. The Stryker case wore you out. You were tired, Doctor. You needed rest. Now, Doctor, you can help me. You do want to help me, don't you, Doctor? All you'll have to do is tell me about Bettina Cook. You were her professor at the university. She took advanced training from you at the hospital. We know that she confided in you. You know, of course, her loyalty to the perfect order. But would Bettina have any friends that we don't know about? I mean, if she thought that we were looking for her, is there some place she could hide? Come on, Doctor. You do understand me. You're protecting her. Why? Where is she? Where is Bettina Cook? Bettina Cook. Bettina Cook, Doctor. Bettina Cook.
That far? I was told by your assistant he was no further use to us. Now that Stryker's escaped, isn't it a shame that his two fellow astronauts are dead?
Are you positive that they're dead? Don't be.
Oh, the kitchen's over there, Bettina. I'm sure Neil is as hungry as I am.
We can talk in the study.
Not in there. Television. It can see as well as be seen.
Some Terra spirits, Neil. I think you're in for a treat. It's one of the few things that hasn't been spoiled by the perfect order. I understand they're working on it. To Earth?
Earth.
Now, what are we going to do with you?
Is it possible for me to get back to Earth?
Anything's possible. The fact that you got here in the first place proves that. Besides, Terra has a very active space program. Our crafts have great range and capabilities.
Are they ground controlled?
Only during blastoff. After that, the astronaut has complete control of his ship.
Then all I have to do is get aboard one.
Oh. You make it sound like catching a train.
There has to be a way, Dylan.
Maybe there is. With my help.
Oh, I can't let you risk it.
But you can't deprive an old man of the one pleasure he enjoys most in life. Outwitting the perfect order. Now, if you could change places with one of our astronauts.
Wouldn't it have to be right before the launch?
That's when he has the most people around him.
What about when he's suiting up?
There's a guard outside his room and a technician helping him.
All right, that narrows it to 2.
You'd only have about 30 minutes to make the switch.
That's all I need.
But even if you got aboard, Neil, could you handle the craft?
I'd sure give it a try. It would help if I could study some operations manuals.
I have all of them.
What's wrong?
The little black box, the small table, the living room. Neil! The television.
wasn't always a toothless warrior, Neil. Once I was young and brave. And then a friend betrayed me, and I was sent to Ward E. They couldn't afford to tamper with my mind, so they worked on my body. I have less than a year to live. And Neil, I want you to promise me you won't tell Bettina what we're planning. Oh, she's a lovely girl, a good girl. But so is the one who betrayed me. Both products of the perfect order.
Are you all right now?
Oh, yes, we have a lot to do. There's a launch planned for early tomorrow morning.
Neil Stryker, astronaut, USA.
That's my home.
I'll never see you again. He just let me go. I was going to call you.
Yes, of course you will. We'll go somewhere else where we can talk about it.
Professor? Good afternoon. Oh, I believe the director left my new assistant's name with you, Dr. Alan Drake.
What'd you say the name was?
Drake. Dr. Alan Drake.
It's not here, Professor.
Why, that's impossible. I was with the director when he told his secretary to see that you got it.
Want to take a look?
Oh, I'm not doubting your eyesight, just the secretary's efficiency. Here, his credentials. Secretaries. Isn't anything of first quality anymore.
I better check with the security officer.
You do that. Oh, and while you have him on the phone, you better remind him that if we don't make our calculations, there'll be no launching tomorrow morning.
Everything seems to be in order, Professor.
Dr. Drake.
Good. Now, thank you very much. Thank you. Mm-hmm. All right.
There's your launching pad, Neil, and that's the bird that will fly you home. You'll see liquid oxygen tanks like that all over the base. They're filled from a processing plant out on the point. All of our space complexes are built by the ocean in case a mission has to be aborted. The pre-launch building's down below.
Seems a long way from the launch pad.
There's an underground tunnel that'll take you there. And Neil?
Yes?
This all makes me feel like a young man again.
Go ahead, Eric.
Now, the astronaut will have his final pre-flight examination in this room. That'll be at 0400 and takes about 15 minutes. And then comes the critical 30 minutes, because at 0445, he leaves for the launching pad. Or with any luck, you'll leave for the launching pad. Now, the space helmet will conceal your identity until you reach the gantry, and after that, no one will see you. Now, we better go over the pilot's check.
Is there another vial somewhere?
Oh, it's at home. I'll have to get it, Neil. Otherwise, I won't be any use to you when you need me the most. Now, you go over that checklist again. I'll be back in time.
Benedict was waiting for me.
Oh, no. What'd you tell him?
That Neil made me drive him a long way from here. And then let me go.
Did he believe you?
He threatened to take me to Ward E if I didn't tell him the truth. Instead, he took me to a basement room somewhere. He had 2 men there. I didn't tell them anything. I didn't.
Oh, it's all right, Bettina. It's all right.
Professor, I have to see Neil again. I want to be with him. I want to tell him I love him.
No.
Look at me. Don't I have the right to see him again?
I'll tell him what you did.
That's not enough.
Well, I'm sorry, Bettina. Bettina! Bettina! Bettina!
I want to have a look at his last telemetry record. I'll get it from my files. Will you set this down for me, Dave? Thanks. It's, good to see you again, Eric. It's been a long time. Come on, I'll walk you outside.
What are you gonna do? Look, I won't tell anyone you're here. I promise. I won't tell anyone you're here.
Good enough for me.
This is Dr. Cook. I'm driving south on People's Roadway 9.
Good. Keep in contact.
Have you seen Stoner?
No, sir.
Well, that's strange. Maybe he couldn't find the telemetry record. I may have a copy in my office.
I'm Dr. Drake. There's going to be a slight delay in the launching. Trouble with one of the backup systems. I have the new countdown schedule. Happens, we're both in the same line of work.
Professor McCauley! Professor McCauley!
What are you doing here?
I followed you. I'm sorry. I've got to see Neil one more time. Please, try to understand. I love him.
We'll be there in a few minutes. He won't get away.
Henry, would it make any difference to you if he did?
Well, yes, shouldn't it?
I don't know. If I fail, they're gonna need somebody else to take my place.
I'm not ready, Mr. Benedict.
Not ready. I said that same thing once. Well, you're right, Henry. He won't get away.
Neil, Dylan. Do you have any trouble?
Little, it's okay.
Well, make it fast. I'll keep watch.
Benedict was waiting for me. He wanted to know where you were.
Go around the back.
Goodbye, Neil.
Are you gonna be all right?
Don't worry about me. The perfect order is kind and just.
shoot! You'll blow us all up! Get him! Get him!
Are you all right?
I want him.
You did the right thing, Bettina. Thanks to the perfect order, we have one great family here in Terra. Destined to protect each other. Destined to help each other. Destined to look after each other.
He couldn't have survived the explosion.
I want proof of this. I want proof.
Proof?
His charred bones, if necessary.
Yes, sir. One of the men found this. Stryker must have lost it on his way to the chemical building.
What happened?
My boat capsized. I had to swim to shore.
Joe, get me my coat.
We've been camping here a couple of days. We're getting ready to leave in a little while. Which way are you going?
Up the coast.
So are we. You're welcome to ride with us if you want.
Thanks.
Mitchell. James Mitchell.
Tom Nelson. Come along.
Is it possible for me to get back to Earth?
Anything's possible. The fact that you got here in the first place proves that.